As the custodian of the country's gateway, we continuously seek to provide a seamless and joyful experience for you. The Butterfly Effect, a set of facilities and services specially catered to guests with hidden disabilities. The Butterfly Effect aims to ensure our hidden disability guests have a seamless and pleasant journey at our airport. We have designated areas for our hidden disability guests, and you will be specially assisted by our trained airport staff. The process is fairly easy and hassle-free. Should you need to use the Butterfly Effect, you can pre-register through Malaysia Airport's official website 3 days prior to your flight. The registration will allow the airport community to prepare for your upcoming travel, ensuring a seamless journey. Upon arrival at the airport, do look out for the Butterfly Effect logo. It is located between doors 2 and 3 at departure level KLIA 1 and at door 2, departure level KLIA 2. You may then proceed to the Customer Information Counter at Level 5, Departure Hall KLIA 1 and Level 3, Departure Hall KLIA 2. For verification purposes, please present an OKU card or a letter issued by a doctor stating the hidden disability condition. You will be given a butterfly kit containing a lanyard, brochure and leaflet on locations of the calm room and sensory walls. It is best to have the lanyard on at all times for proper assistance from our airport staff. Our friendly airport care ambassadors will happily guide and escort you from the check-in counter all the way to the boarding gate. As a Butterfly Effect guest, you may utilize the calm room located at Level 5 KLIA 1 before proceeding to the boarding gate. Our calm room is designed specifically to help individuals with hidden disabilities to regulate their emotions and calm their anxieties in the busy and loud airport environment. The interactive touch panels of our sensory walls help hidden disability guests to engage through their touch and sight, encouraging interactive explorations. Our Butterfly Effect guests will have special access at all checkpoints within the terminal. If your flight is at the satellite building, you may take the train or ride the bus and enjoy the scenery. At the boarding gate, you will go through the final round of security checks. Our aviation security personnel will give more time and flexibility to accommodate to your needs. As caring hosts, the aim of the Butterfly Effect initiative is to provide an inclusive and seamless airport experience for all our guests.
Good afternoon and welcome to another session of My Airports Butterfly Talk, a webinar via Facebook Live and hosted by Malaysia Airports. During this session, we will be sharing with you on an often overlooked disability, which is the hidden disabilities. And what are actually the hidden disabilities? As we have shared in the previous webinar session, they are disabilities that are not immediately apparent and are primarily neurological in nature, such as autism, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder or ADHD, sensory processing disorder, global developmental delay, and many more. And ladies and gentlemen, the topic of today's webinar is travel safely in the new normal. As we know, airports are not always the easiest place to navigate, especially when there are multiple checkpoints that travelers need to go through. So more so now as we begin to travel in the new normal amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, many of us may not be sure of the current airport procedures and where to seek information. As such, it is important for everyone to be well informed of the latest airport and health check procedures prior to their flight to avoid any mishaps. So for today's episode, we will be talking about the current airport and health check procedures so that parents or guardians of individuals with hidden disabilities can better prepare for their upcoming travel. So if you are flying off somewhere soon, do stay with us until the end of the show. We'll give you some tips on how to travel during this new norm. Ladies and gentlemen, viewers, I'm honored to have not only one, but two amazing panelists with me today as we dwell into the topic. The first panelist for today is Dr. Siti Fatimah Abdul Aziz, the medical officer from KLIA Health Office. With over 10 years of experience in the medical field, Dr. Fatimah has been involved in various projects, including the World Health Organization or WHO Joint External Evaluation in 2019 as KLIA coordinator. And she is now part of the KLIA medical team in ensuring that the passengers flying into the airport receive their COVID-19 health screening. She serves as a beacon of guidance to many of us as we navigate through the pandemic while ensuring the safety for everyone. So welcome, Dr. Fatimah. Good afternoon. How are you, Doctor?
Yeah, Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. Thank you very much, Puan Hafiza and the whole team, especially Malaysia Airports, for inviting me and for giving me this kind of opportunity to speak in this forum. I am very pleased and honored to join all of you today.
Thank you, Dr. Fatimah. So we'll be with you shortly, Dr. Fatimah. And now the second panelist for today's webinar is Encik Muhammad Azmil Harun Rashid, the General Manager of Operational Excellence and Guest Experience at Malaysia Airports, or we call it OEGX. OEGX, yes, correct. He will be sharing with us what has Malaysia Airports done in ensuring our passengers get to travel safely in the new normal and enhancing the airport experience. Welcome, Encik Azmil. Good afternoon. How are you, Encik Azmil?
Hi, Hafiza. Assalamualaikum. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me here. I'm excited to share relevant information, particularly for the specific audience today, inshallah.
Right, inshallah. Right, the format for today's session is that we will discuss about the topics. There'll be questions from myself and you will answer the questions. Then we will open the floor for question and answer. So for viewers out there, if you have any questions, please type your questions in the comment box and we will read out for you later, right? Okay. So before we dive into today's topic, the first question will be for Dr. Fatimah. Perhaps Dr. Fatimah can share with us some brief information about your field, which is the public health. What is it, and what are the examples surrounding the public health issues? Dr. Fatimah.
Okay. Well, I am pretty sure most of us are familiar with clinical doctors, but not public health doctor. Actually, we all are medical doctors. The difference is maybe the nature of work. Okay. Back in 2017, when I was moved to KLIA, I've been introduced to the new atmosphere that is public health. I can see public health doctor focus more on promoting health, preventing disease, and prolonging life of entire population, whereby the clinical doctor treating patient one-to-one in hospital or clinic setting. I would say everything under the sky is belong to public health. Whatever decision made by public health physician is beneficial for people health and well-being. To be a public health physician, you have to be a medical doctor in the first place, and then you have to continue special training for 4 years. As what surgeon or physician do. Then only you can qualify as public health physician. Well, public health physicians works within multidisciplinary teams and across different sectors. We do conduct surveillance and research as evidence-based public health and even share it to policymakers to make a sustainable health system that can serve both current and future generations. Okay, to make you understand better what is public health, I will give you example. You know, we have been struggling with COVID-19 for more than 2 years. Initially, the outbreak or epidemic of the new virus was started in Wuhan, China. Soon, it spreads tremendously fast all over the world and become pandemic. Okay, whether you realize it or not, the terms epidemic and pandemic itself come from public health. So, in public health perspective, we strategize our plan on how to prevent the disease from coming into our country. From the very beginning of the outbreak, point of entry has strengthened health control at the border. You know, we do gatekeeping. We screen all travelers. They have to undergo fever screening via thermal scanner, COVID-19 test, and continue quarantine. If they become positive and require hospital admission, then our counterpart, which is medical physician, will take care of them until recovery. Meanwhile, we at Public Health Staff do contact tracing for the close contact, disinfection, and issued quarantine order to them to prevent further viral transmission. That's how we work. I think everything we can achieve through the organized efforts of society, organizations, communities, and individuals as well. With that, I hope you get some idea on public health field.
Wow. Okay, that's quite a lot. That's quite a lot of process. Thank you, Dr. Fatima, for the insightful story. Now we have a better understanding on your field, and on behalf of Malaysia Airports, I would like to thank you for working tirelessly as the frontliner to ensure the safety of airport passengers, and for your contribution to the country as well. Thank you, Dr. Fatima. Right. Moving on to Inci Azmil. Question to you: what were the biggest challenges you have faced in elevating guest experience during the pandemic?
Thank you, Hafiza. It was definitely a challenging time for the past 2 years. On the onset, right? Airport is not actually designed to actually handle a pandemic such as what we have experienced last 2 years. So the biggest challenge that we had to overcome was to figure out how do we ensure that the users of the airport, which is the passengers, can continue enjoy the experience of the airport while we comply with all the additional SOPs that's being imposed at the airport. So these were the two criteria that we need to balance. So while we want to provide joyful experience for the passengers, but we also have these additional SOPs. And let me explain a bit then what are those additional things that the passengers have to go through and what the airport had to do in terms of managing this. So number one is we have additional checks, right? So as you go through the airport, there are additional checks. Additional document checks, identification checks. Also, there are also additional tests that you have to do. Particularly if you're arriving from outside Malaysia, you have to do tests at the airport. Additionally, with all the additional requirements like social distancing, these document checks, the airport is also faced with the challenge of capacity. So space was not designed for social distancing, and also the processing time with all the additional checks also adds up to the longer time of waiting in the queue because of the processing time is increased because of the additional checks. And thirdly, if you recall, during the hype of the MCO, right, a lot of operating hours is also affected. These are the commercial offerings, the F&B, the shopping experience. A lot of the facilities that is available at the airport some are not operating at 24 hours. So this also impacts the guest experience because some of the passengers do have odd time of flying hours, but because of the strict MCO restrictions, we have to comply, and that impacts joyful experience that we want to provide. So again, in a nutshell, back to your question, the biggest challenge was to maintain and elevate the joyful experience at the airport while all these constraints is put upon the airport. That was the challenge.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because we want everyone to feel at ease when traveling, right, Jasmine? Right.
Correct.
If I may continue, Jasmine, recently KL International Airport and Langkawi International Airport have been ranked number 1 in their respective category in the Airport Council International's Airport Service Quality or ACIASQ survey. So can you tell us a little bit more about this achievement?
Right. Yes. First, Alhamdulillah, this is a fantastic global recognition for KLIA and also Langkawi, these two international airports that we have as a gateway to Malaysia. But what's more important about this recognition is what does it mean to the passenger? Of course, it's a recognition for the airport operator and the airport community at large that works at the airport. But what's important for the passenger? What does this mean, right? To being the top rank for Q4 last year. So to understand that, let me give a little bit of background to give a bit more appreciation. What does it mean, right? Every month, there is a third-party independent survey, passenger survey done at the airport to the passengers who has experienced the entire process at the airport. And in this survey designed by Airport Council International, it's called ASQ, Airport Service Quality, ask the passenger to rate their experience and their level of satisfaction in terms of the service quality through the airport. With this rating, then it is accumulated and is also passed to ACI in Canada to do the benchmarking exercise where they benchmark and do comparison against other airports that's participating in such survey. So for example, like Changi, Incheon, they all participate in this global survey on a monthly basis. And Alhamdulillah, in Q4 last year, KLIA and also Langkawi was rated top in the global benchmarking. And what does this really mean? Because if you need to understand what are the questions asked in the survey. So these are the passengers' feedback, right? We subscribe to this because we do want to know. We want to listen to the passengers, what are important for them, what are we lacking to improve, and what also they like about the airport that we want to keep repeating it. So the questions in survey ask questions, things like ease of getting to the airport, check-in experience, the security screening, border passport controls, shopping facilities, the ambience at the airport, and also even the courtesy and helpfulness of the people at the airport, the staff at the airport, and all the airport community that works there. So it's quite a comprehensive list of questionnaire that provide a holistic view to the airport operator and the airport community to prioritize and to focus what are important to the passengers. So with this ranking, being that ranked top in Q4, it actually gives two things. One, we are glad that the passengers are happy because it's a feedback from them. That gives us satisfaction that all the effort that we've been put in for many, many years to ensure that, particularly during the COVID environment, that it's working. It's working for the passengers, that they are at ease, they are very satisfied with the services at airport, because we don't want them to worry about all the COVID restrictions and additional SOPs. So it is a fantastic recognition for Malaysia Airport as an operator. However, it is directly impacting the passengers' experience at the airport. So this is something that we are very proud of, and we also thank to the passengers as our guests for giving those feedback also. Thank you very much.
Right, thank you again, Cik Azmil. We all share your joy at the success of our airports, what we have achieved, and I really hope that we can achieve more in the future. So, Dr. Fatima, a question to you, back to you. It has been I think about more than 2 years since we first adjusted our life to navigate through the COVID-19 pandemic. And most of us have not been able to travel in and out of the country. And with the new health check procedures in place, I must admit there is some additional work that travelers need to do to prepare for the travel. So if you don't mind, perhaps you may share with us, you might want to share with us what are the latest safety measures and procedures at the airport that travelers, including those with hidden disabilities, need to be aware of. Dr. Fatima?
Okay. Well, we are so busy combating the pandemic with surge of passengers nowadays. Those days, everybody can fly. But now, everybody aware that there is some additional requirement to fulfill before traveling. And this requirement keep on changing by time. So, what I'm telling you today may be no longer relevant by next month because it is so dynamic. So, my advice is, please feel free to visit our KKM website or Facebook to update yourself to the newest SOP or guidance. Okay, to answer your question, for the current SOP, whereas applied to all inbound travelers arriving from airport, regardless of age, first thing first, they must download and activate My Sejahtera apps. Dear parents, please do add on your kids or underage as dependent. Okay. To those fully vaccinated, you can apply for home quarantine via My Sejahtera or portal 4 to 10 days before arrival. Home quarantine is subject to MOH approval based on the risk evaluation. Then you have to do COVID-19 test 2 days before departure. Okay, you should complete the pre-departure form in My Sejahtera before depart. Then, upon arrival at KLIA, you have to take another swab for COVID-19 test. You will be issued with a digitalized quarantine order based on the arrival date and the vaccine status, either 5, 7, or 10 days of quarantine. Okay.
So that's quite a lot of process, but definitely if you want to travel and with peace of mind, we need to adhere to all the SOPs, right, Dr. Fatima?
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Yeah, and definitely the reference will be to go to the Ministry of Health or KKM's website to get all the latest details. That's most important before you travel, right? Right. Before we move on, I think I just want to remind the viewers, if you have any questions related to the topic today, please type in your questions in the comment, and we will read it out for you, and we'll get the panels to answer the questions. Yeah. Okay. Now back to Inci Azmil. Let's talk about the airport procedures. Since the start of the COVID-19, is there any changes on the airport procedures, or if there is, what are the changes and that the travelers need to know before they arrive at the airport?
Okay. When thinking about procedures, it could be very, very daunting for someone who's going to travel, right, with all these new requirements and all. Let me attempt to simplify so that it put everyone at ease. Number one is if you are a regular traveler, the airport procedures are actually generally the same. However, right now there's another layer on top of it where additional procedures are put on top of the current business as usual airport procedures to address COVID-related concerns, right? So to take it like that, that's as simple as that, right? So the airport procedures are almost the same, all the same, but now you have this health additional procedures. So generally, it is the general procedures are the same like how other public areas are. Like, for example, you have to wear a mask, and also you have to have your My Sejahtera status, updated, so that people can screen whether you can get into the terminal and the outside of the airport. And then specifically for that's general, so that's a general requirement. But specifically, when it gets a little bit more requirements is when you are actually traveling. Now, traveling that basically is either you are departing from Malaysia or KLIA, say, or you are arriving from overseas. And like what Dr. Fatima mentioned earlier, it's a very dynamic requirement, and very dynamic. Things can change, and particularly because of situation, condition, and what type of travelers you are. So it depends on. So I give you an example. If you're arriving to Malaysia, it depends on from which country you are coming from. It also depends and what's the purpose of your visit to Malaysia, why you're returning to Malaysia. So all this comes into play in terms of the SOPs that you have to adhere to. So if I share all that right now, it will be very, very complicated. Similarly for departing as well. We did mention it's not too complicated. Malaysia, you can travel quite freely, except for if you go to Sabah and Sarawak, you have to visit Sabah and Sarawak website to make sure that you can get the e-health pass. So there they will explain what you require. But similarly, if you go to other parts of the world, every country would have different documents that you have to comply to. So again, if I explain all that, it will be very complicated, right? So if you go to Singapore and if you are a permanent resident of Singapore or you're not, all that have a different criteria. If you're going to the UK, if you're going to the US, if you're going to China, all these have their own documents that the country expects for you to comply to, and the SOPs you have to comply to. To keep it simple for the audience, I would advise that first, like correctly that Dr. Fatima said, get yourself updated based on KKM's website and Facebook. And if you're going to other countries, to keep it simple, just check with your travel agents and also the airlines. Yeah, because they have the latest travel advisory. Because they are particularly the airlines, they have a vested interest to make sure the person who is on board on the plane is already in compliance to the destination that they're going to. So the airlines will have the latest travel advisory. So give them a call and go to their website and check what you need to do. Through the airport, the procedures are pretty much simple. It's basically MySejahtera to get from one point to another point. As temperature check is already lifted, so that's no longer a requirement. But you have to wear a mask. We also put social distancing markers to remind the passengers that keep yourself distance, and to make sure the airport also has making sure that it's safe for travelers. We sanitize the airport every 2 hours. The boarding gates are sanitized immediately after the gates are cleared. There are hand sanitizers throughout the airport for your convenience, and many more features that we put, like sneeze guards as you check in and all that. However, please do plan your travel, be prepared, and also plan your travel more upfront, because you need to expect that with all these document checks during check-in, the queuing time will be a bit longer. Yeah, a bit longer. So the earlier you come, the quicker you release your anxiety about getting to the plane is much better. So that in a nutshell. I don't want to share too much detail because that will overcomplicate things. Like I said, check with your travel agent and airlines for the latest travel advisory. I do have one additional advice though, especially because we are addressing the audience on hidden disability, right? So what I'm wearing here right now is the butterfly effect lanyard. So I understand right now with all this SOP can create more anxiety to passengers, particularly for the particular topic and the audience that we're trying to address here with hidden disability. Now you can get this by registering at Malaysia Airport's website. Just type butterfly effect and then you register. As you register, upon arrival to the airport, either whether you are arriving from outside Malaysia or you are departing from Malaysia, you can go to the info counter and collect your lanyard and also the kit, butterfly effect kit. Let me see.
Yeah.
Maybe you can see that. Yeah, there's a kit. You can't see it. Okay, but anyway, why is this important? Because this will provide a visual indicator to the entire airport community, not just the airport staff, but KKM staff, the security staff, the airline staff. When they see this, they will automatically be more attentive to the passenger who's wearing the butterfly effect lanyard. So special treatments that we will give. We'll give more time for inspection. Just to make sure that the passenger wearing this is at ease, and the entire airport community can help out, right, to make it a joyful experience particularly for people with hidden disability. So take advantage of this, and once you register, you can take this home. So this is a very nice lanyard with Malaysia Airport brand on it and everything. It's for you to keep, and you can use every time you travel at any Malaysia airports.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Encik Azmil, for sharing with us the information on the airport procedures and also to share and also sharing with us just now on the butterfly effect program that we have already embarked in at the airport at KLIA in particular. So we know that traveling can be very challenging for many, especially during these tough times. But as the safety of our passengers is our main priority, Malaysia Airports always makes sure that we comply to the new standard operating procedures or SOPs. And our frontliners, regardless of those from the airport operator or the airlines or the ground handlers, we are always on ground to help you and should you need any assistance. So alternatively, for the viewers out there, if you may also visit our website at www.malaysiaairports.com.my for more information on the latest passenger guide. Right, ladies and gentlemen, it's 3:32. I think we can open the floor for question and answer. So I believe we do have some questions from the audience. Let's take a look at them. Okay, I will read out the first question from Siti Hajar. If my son's temperature is high by the time we arrive at the airport, but the PCR test that we have done prior to that is negative, is he still allowed to enter the airport and fly? I'm not sure whether this is maybe to Encik Azmil?
Yeah, maybe I can take that. Yeah, Dr. Fatima, chip in if you have a dish. Anytime. Yeah. Yes. So currently, as you know, in Malaysia, we have lifted the temperature check. So in that situation that Siti Hajar mentioned, and the condition is negative, right? So yeah, the child can enter because the temperature check is already been lifted.
Okay, all right. So I think it is he's allowed to enter the airport, right?
Correct.
Okay. Second question comes from Ashraf Hisham. Are there any requirements or supporting documents needed to use the facility for disabled persons at the health screening checkpoint? I think this one I'll direct it to Dr. Fatima.
Well, I think it is advisable to bring medical report for our reference during health screening, because you know what, we do provide fast lane for those disabled or disability persons to expedite the screening process.
Okay, the last question from Mr. Ram Kumar, right? Okay, before travel to overseas, passengers must take RTK test. I think Dr. Fatima, if you can answer that.
You mean the outbound travelers, right?
I think this is outbound. Okay, maybe we can answer for one for outbound. The other one will be inbound travelers.
Okay. For outbound travelers, as long as he is not confirmed case with isolation order and abide to local law or airline policy, and also if he abide to entry policy of destination country, I think it shouldn't be a problem. But then for inbound traveller, yeah, definitely you are welcome to your country and subject to undergo health screening procedures.
Yeah. So basically, for either outbound or inbound travelers, they still need to undergo health processes, and also to check on whatever that is the new whatever SOPs that are related to the airport processes, arriving and also departing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I think that's about all. Okay, we have the questions right now. But for the viewers, if you have any other questions, or perhaps maybe when we close the session and suddenly it appears in your mind that, oh, I have something to ask, please do type in a comment. We will get back to you. We will respond to you in our Facebook chat, yeah? In our Facebook comments, okay? So thank you to Dr. Fatima and also Encik Azmil for answering the questions from our audience. And I wish we could talk more actually about about today's topic. I'm sure Encik Azmil has a lot to share with us in regards to all the airport processes that we have embarked to. So, however, that is all the time that we have today. So, if you have further questions, again, please feel free to visit our Facebook page, Malaysia Airports, and leave us a comment so that we can get back to you with an answer. So do also visit our website, which I've mentioned earlier, to know more about the butterfly effect, which is an initiative by Malaysia Airports for passengers with hidden disabilities. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank Dr. Fatima and also Encik Azmil for joining us today, and we hope to see you soon again. For all our audience out there, stay tuned for the next topic, which will be next month, because this is a monthly affair. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and be a responsible social butterfly and adhere to all safety measures. Bye.
Bye. Take care.
Bye,
Thank you.
thank you.
Take care. Stay safe.
All right.
Stay safe.
Stay safe, everyone.